Hello, hello. What's up, guys? Hey, Losh. Nice of you to join. Hey, Wing Chun. I'm glad you're here. What's up, Bigfoot? How's it going? Hey, Casey. How's it going with you? What's up, Rude Noise? Glad you could join. How are you doing? Hey, Sunny Side Up. I'm glad you're here. All right. All right. Da-da-da-da. Let's start up. Do some Wordle. You're glad you're here too? Okay. We're all glad you're here. All right, where's my screen? Okay. All right. How fast can I do this? Ooh. Ah. Okay, okay. Manner. Maller. Matter. Mages. Magi. Okay. AME, like James, tamed, came, camel. No! Oh my god. You guys. Oh, you're glad I'm here too? Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be joining you guys on your stream. All right. What's up, Nikki? How's it going? All right. Record, store, weird, reaction, stamp, station, letter, comic, funny, mail, coin, post, off, position, curious, job. All right. Stamp, letter, mail, station? No, post office. Post. That's gotta be. It's not? Wait. Stamp, mail, letter, post. Wait, how is it not? Uh, Wait, what? Okay. Position a job. Hmm. Record, store, mail, reaction, stamp. Oh, funny, curious, kind of weird. It's kind of off. Things that are kind of weird. Okay, peculiar. All right. We got comic, letter, stamp, record, mail, coin, store, position. A position, like a post, a job post. That's job and a station. Like a position at a job, I think. Okay, an assignment. Okay. I feel like mail, letter, and stamp. There's got to be mail, letter, stamp, store, Record? Store. Coin? Store. Like the post office has a store, right? Fuck! Oh, record. No! Okay. Oh no! Mail letter stamp. Store mail letter. I don't know. Letter mail stamp. Store. This wasn't even miss. What did you guess? This wasn't missing one, right? Stamp record. Letter reaction comic. Store. Oh god. Mail. Store. Letter. Reaction comic. What? What is this? Maybe if I shuffle. Coin record store reaction stamp. I don't know. Letter mail store stamp. I need to get the post office out of my head. I don't think that's right. Stamp. What do you do with stamp? What else do you do with stamps? You attach them. I guess you collect stamps. Oh, wait. You collect coins. Oh, comics. Record? Records? Like vinyl records? Oh my god. Okay, okay. What is this then? Letter mail store reaction. Oh, come on. Chain letter, chain mail, chain reaction, chain store. Oh. Okay. Not bad. Did not guess that last one. Who could guess that? Yeah, that's why it's hard. What's a chain letter? I think a chain letter isn't a chain letter like one of those things where they send you a letter and they say like you have to send this letter to 10 other people or else you have bad luck. Am I wrong? Yeah, that's a chain letter. What's up, Psyduck? How's it going? There were chain emails back in the day. Yeah. All right. Semantle. Let's do this. How fast can we do this, guys? Chain. Oh, wait. Chain. Letter. Mail. Armor. Jewelry. Watch. Gold. Stamp. Dog. Oh, stamp. Dog. God. Cat. Cat. Feline. What else? Mouse. Pet. Rat. Lion. Tiger. Wait a minute. Some kind of cat. Panther. Ooh. Mammal. Cat. Tiger. Uh, kangaroo. Oh, wait a minute. Marsupial. Marsupial. Okay. Zoo. Cougar. Leopard. How about a gerbil? Hamster. Cat is the closest so far. Rabbit. Oh, rabbit. Bunny. Hare. Turtle. Kitten. Bear. Okay, rabbit is the highest. Panda. Capybara. Oh, I love capybaras. Capybara. Feline we try. Animal. Whisker. Fluffy. We had dog. How about wolf? No. Some kind of pet animal? Rabbit. Gerbil we tried. Critter. Oh. Bug. Spider. Oh. Spider is high. Rabbit. Pig. Ferret. Dragon. Hamster, I think we tried. Dragon's pretty high. Hamster. Rabbit. Mouse. Snake. Reptile. Did we try turtle? Tortoise. Rooster. Chupacabra. Scorpion. Anaconda. Anaconda. Snake. How about lizard? How about amphibian? Python? Buns. Iguana. Ooh. All these are very close. Snake. Marsupial? Did we try that? Meat? No. Snake. Gecko. Ooh, gecko. How about a raccoon? How about a possum? Tarantula. Tarantula. Ha ha. Everything's just so close. I think we tried mouse. Beaver. Okay, beaver. How about opossum? Opossum. Wait. Opossum. Snake is the highest, then rabbit. Snake, rabbit. How about squirrel? It's some kind of animal. It's gotta be. Have you tried reptile? Chipmunk. Small. Pet. Tiny. Neuter. No, it's some type of animal, it seems like. Triceratops? How about dinosaur? Triceratops. What? I mean, they're all pretty close. What? Snake. Rabbit. Raccoon. Yeah, what about a bat? What about a bird? Oh, fish. Goldfish. Oh, further away. Chicken. How about cow? No. Turkey. No. Snake. Snake. Monster. Komodo, like a Komodo dragon. Crab. Giraffe. Ah. We guessed the what was the first green? I guess pet so fast. Now we can't get to the actual answer. Frog. Duck. Toad. Fish. Badger. Goose. Swan. Okay, getting further away. Snake. Rabbit. Gecko. We did try mammal. Crocodile. Alligator. Gator. Platypus. What is it? Sloth. Porcupine. Okay. What's rabbit, snake, anteater? How about a monkey? Oh! Monkey! Yay. Is a monkey close to a snake? Not really, but you know what? We'll take it. Dodo. Good job, guys. We got there. We got there in the end. The tail is similar. Gotcha. Yeah, how is monkey related to snake and rabbit and lizard? A crazy ass zoo. 8 minutes. Not bad. Alright, today I have some snacks. Okay. I believe this is like garlic shrimp chip. Okay. I believe. It looks pretty good. Can you see the picture? Oh, it looks so good. It's roasted garlic. Or pan fried garlic. Ooh, I smell the shrimp. Oh, lunar zodiac animals. Yeah, it is. Isn't it garlic? I think it's garlic and shrimp. Looks pretty good. Like a little fat little chip. It's not thin. It's kind of thick. Hold on, need to try another one. I think I taste the shrimp. Or am I just fooling myself? There's garlic. Yeah, I taste that. I thought I tasted shrimp. Yeah, it is shrimp. Yeah, it's the shrimp chips. Oh. Yeah, it's the shrimp chips that has that's garlic flavored. Um. Pretty good. I love garlic, so it's pretty good. Giving this a 8.4. 8.4 out of 10. Not bad. Crunchiness is like a friggin' 9 out of 10. Alright. I have more. I'm hungry today. Now, looks pretty festive, but I have no idea what it is inside. Okay. Oh. Oh, it's a round, big cracker type of thing. Ugh. I broke it. Ooh. I don't know what this tastes like. But it looks good. Kind of a little bit sweet and savory. It's a rice cracker. I don't know what flavor though. It's like sweet and salty. This is getting a, it's a solid 7 out of 10. Maybe a 7.1. What's up, Malik? How you doing? All right. I'm excited for this. Ugh. Can you see? It's mochi. Oh, yeah. Give me a second. Whoa. All right. This is a third snack. Lin has been replaced by Qigong. Check it out. Ooh. It's mochi. It's covered with some kind of powder. Some kind of nut powder. Oh, it was so good. Ooh, look, squishy. So squishy. All right. Oh. I love it. I think it's like soybean powder. And then it's also filled inside. It's brown sugar filling. Yum 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 yum. Yum 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 yum. Ah. Very good. Oh, I approve. Yeah, so it's covered with a dusting of some kind of soybean powder. And it's also a brown sugar filling. Oh, so good. This is like a 9 out of 10 for squishiness. Maybe even a 9.3 out of 10 for squishiness. Overall, it's a solid 8.5. Okay. Kind of a bit too sweet for me. Like a bit high on the sweetness rating. If it were a little bit less sweet, I think it would be really good. Yum, 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 yum. Wronger made these snacks. All right, good food. Okay. Yeah, you guys got it. I'm gonna have to teach you guys some martial arts moves now. I'm gonna teach you my 18 palms. The sickly sweet stuff can be a bit much. Yeah. I like snacks and candies that are a little bit less sweet. Okay. What about the fourth snack? There is no fourth snack. Yeah. I think we're good for today, guys. All right. Are y'all ready? Okay. We're not using Chat GPT today. Yeah, maybe next time. All right. Last time, if you remember, Hong Qigong, the leader of the beggar sect, he agrees to stay with Guo Jing and Huang Rong. Okay, so he can teach Guo Jing the rest of his 18 dragon subduing palms. All right. And he does this on the condition that Huang Rong continues to make him delicious food. So Huang Rong goes to buy some ingredients, and on the way, she meets Mu Nianzi, who she does not like because Guo Jing is expected like by his masters to marry Mu Nianzi. So she steals Mu Nianzi's dagger, okay, which has Guo Jing's name on it. And Mu Nianzi is like, "Hey, no, that's the only keepsake that I have from my adopted father." And then they fight, but after a while, Mu Nianzi, she clarifies that she doesn't really want to marry Guo Jing. Okay? And the moment she says this, Huang Rong immediately changes her demeanor. She's like, oh, she's immediately super friendly towards her, calling her a sister and stuff like that. Mu Nianzi reveals that she already has someone that she likes. Okay, and that someone is Yang Kang. And she also lets Huang Rong keep the dagger. At night, Mu Nianzi, she sneaks off to the Wen Yan residence to spy on Yang Kang. Okay, it's kind of creepy. She's a super stalker. Huang Rong follows her, and seeing this, she immobilizes Mu Nianzi, and she just takes her and she throws her at Yang Kang. And Yang Kang's like, what the fuck? But they get reacquainted again. And Mu Nianzi, she confesses to Yang Kang, and he gets all hot and bothered, and he tries to do some funny business. But Mu Nianzi, she threatens to kill herself if he persists. She says, hey, I'm a respectable girl, okay? You have to marry me first. So he promises to marry her. And then she leaves saying that, okay, she'll be staying at Ox Village and he can show up with a matchmaker anytime he wants. And she also says that if he doesn't show up, then she'll just wait for him forever. Okay, and that's where we left off. How's that? As a kid, you love Swiss cake rolls and Hostess cupcakes. Those are pretty good. I love the mini donuts. Oh my god! When I was a kid, they're so good. Okay, they're less good now. Yeah, now they're still kind of good, but back then when I was a kid, they're so good. I also ate Twinkies when I was a kid. Oh, I can't imagine eating it now. Twinkies are way too sweet. Yeah, those Hostess mini donuts. Oh, so good. Wen Yan Kang seems like a good fit for Lady Mu. Rich guy, lots of horses, Jurchen Prince. Yeah. Only problem is he's a spoiled little brat. You think candy tasted better yeah, candy tasted better when I was a kid. I think so. I used to drink a lot of soda when I was a kid. So I think maybe I was used to all that sugar. Yeah, but once I stopped drinking soda, yeah, it just my sugar tolerance just went down. Yeah, so now I don't eat things that are that sweet. Okay. I'm trying to cut down on the boba tea also. So now I order boba tea with like 50% sweetness. Trying to get down to like 25%. Maybe 0%. I know people who drink 0% sweetness, which seems kind of weird, but I think they just rely on the sweetness of the boba itself. You love them until you're covered in powdered sugar and accidentally choke on the powder? Yeah. Yum. Drink more plain tea? I drink plain tea. Properly brewed tea can taste like a really good dark chocolate. Really? I never experienced that. All right. You're a sucker for Andes bars. Wait, what are Andes bars? Stop. Oh, I think you told me. These are pretty good. These are pretty good. I do like mint chocolate. But you know what's the best bar? Well, hold on. Not the best, but pretty good. The best is Kit Kat. Okay. Kit Kats are so good. You can always have a Kit Kat bar. But a close second is you guys know Rocky Road candy bar? Oops. These are so good. Yeah, just marshmallow and chocolate. And I think wait, what is it? Is it cashews? I think it's cashews, right? Yeah, cashews. Yeah. The only problem is it falls apart so bad. If only I think they should increase the like the thickness of the chocolate. It'll be so good. Yeah. Is it like the ice cream? Yeah, like Rocky Road ice cream. But it's yeah, it's marshmallow, cashews, and chocolate. So good. You love Dr. Pepper? No. What? Dr. Pepper tastes like medicine. Are you kidding? I was a Pepsi kid over Coke. Okay, Pepsi was so good. Is that a regional candy? It might be. Yeah, I'm on the West Coast. Rocky Road Bar. I don't know. Regional? I don't know how to search for that. Rocky Road. Yeah. Dr. Pepper is the best. It tastes like medicine. No. You finished med school. You're on the East Coast. Oh, they don't have those there? Too bad for you. What do you guys think of Toblerone? Those are pretty good. I still think Kit Kat is better. But Toblerone is pretty good. You preferred 7 Up growing up? Blah. Why? 7 Up and Sprite? Blah. Pepsi is a little bit less harsh than Coke. Yeah, I think Pepsi is less sweet than Coke. Am I crazy? A lot of people disagree with me. I thought it was less sugary, but it could be just my imagination. Toblerone is amazing. Yeah. Snickers is good too. Snickers is pretty good. Yeah. I love peanuts. Is there a candy bar with peanuts, almonds, and chocolate? Does that exist? Candy bar, peanut, almond, chocolate. Almond Joy, with no peanut though. Almond Joy is good if you like coconut. Mounds, chocolate and peanuts is Mr. Goodbar. I love Mr. Goodbar. Yeah, yeah, I know that one. But like, is there one with almond and peanuts? Does Mounds have? Wait, Mounds. No. Wait, Mounds is just. Wait. There's no nuts in Mounds, right? I'm definitely Qigong. Nutrageous. What is that? Nutrageous. Oh, I never had these. Are they good? What's in it? What kind of nuts are in this? Reese's peanut butter cups are pretty good. So it's Reese's peanut butter topped with roasted peanuts and caramel covered in chocolate flavored coating. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Has peanuts. Maybe I'll try that someday. Wait, so no peanut and almond and chocolate. Never really liked chocolate and peanut butter. Wait, Bigfoot, you don't like Reese's peanut butter cups? The only problem with those is that they just fall apart so bad. Yeah, they're hard to eat. Anyways, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's get back. All right, you ready? Chapter 13. Part 1. Butterfinger? Butterfingers are mid-tier. The 3 test questions. Ooh, new translator. Sunny Snow. Wait, have we had him before? I feel like his name is familiar. Isn't it? I think we had him before. That doesn't bode well. Alright, well, goodbye, Mojo Jojo. We will miss you. That's your cousin, Sunny Snow? Alright, Sunny side up. Alright. When Hongrong returned back to the inn for the night, she thought in her heart how she had done a good deed and was extremely delighted. Remember, she threw Munianzi into Yang Kang's arms, okay? Following that, she fell into a sweet sleep and told Guojing all about it when she awoke the next morning. Guojing had actually spent a lot of effort on this matter. The last time he got into a messy situation and had to fight for his life with Wan Yankang, and he was also forced to marry Mu Nianzi. So when he heard that Mu Nianzi and Yankang were in love, he secretly felt relieved and happy, especially since Chu Chu Chi and the 6 freaks of Jiangnan would not be able to force him to marry Mu Nianzi anymore. He ate and chatted with Hongrong, and after some time, Mu Nianzi still had not come. Hongrong smiled and said, "We don't have to wait for her, let's just go." Following that, she went back into her room and put on a male disguise. Both of them went to the market and got a camel and rode to the Jiang residence. When they saw the lantern, which read "The Jin Ambassador," at the door smashed, they thought that Wan Yankang must have left and Mu Nianzi must have followed him. Wait, what? When they saw the lantern, which read "The Jin Ambassador," at the door smashed. Is that normal? Okay. Or is that mistranslated? Guojing and Hongrong decided to tour the countryside and rowed a boat to the south of the Yun River. They were lucky that day to see the famous Tao City, which specialized in pottery making. The rows of ceramic creations made with purple sand and clay laid amongst the green hills and blue waters, which formed a beautiful sight. Not smashed, but taken down. Okay, that sounds better. Okay, so Mu Nianzi, but Mu Nianzi actually went to Ox Village, remember? Yeah. They traveled towards the east, and not long after, chanced upon a huge lake. Since the lake was situated between 3 cities, and it took about 500 miles to reach east or south, the lake was named Five Lake. Guojing had never seen such huge waters before, and pulled Hongrong to the lake side. They saw the sky far away from them, a huge, never-ending space in front, with the lake in the middle, and couldn't help but yell out happily. Hongrong said, "Let's go and play on the lake." They found a fishing village near the lake, borrowed a small boat, and left the camel with the owner before rowing out into the waters. After some distance away from the shore, the space between all 4 corners looked so empty and huge, and the lake seemed like heaven to them. Hongrong's robes and hair floated gently in the wind, and she smiled. "Long ago, Advisor Fan escorted Si Shi across the Five Lake. What a clever man." his court position is nothing compared to the beautiful life here. Guojing didn't know anything about Advisor Fan's story and asked, Wronger, how about you tell me the story? How about you tell me the story? Hong Rong began to tell about how Fan Li helped King Yue avenge the Yue kingdom and how he successfully retreated with Xi to a beautiful life on Lake Tai. And she continued about how Wu Su and Wen Zhong were killed by King Wu and King Yue, respectively. Guojing was in a daze after listening to the story, and after a while he recovered and said, Fan Li is clever, but Wu Su and Wen Zhong are admirable too, for dying for their country. Xi was one of the 4 greatest beauties in China. Okay. Hong Rong gave a little laugh. Absolutely. As the saying goes, if a country is virtuous and one does not change, he is the strongest. If a country is corrupted and one still does not change as well, he remains the strongest. Guojing asked, What does this mean? If a country is virtuous, though one rises up to be a powerful official, one would still be as alert and cautious as before. When the country becomes weak one day, and you are still willing to die for your country, then you are the real hero. Guojing nodded his head and said, Wronger! How clever of you to think of this. Hong Rong laughed. Hiya! If I could think of this, I would be a saint. These are Confucius's sayings, which my father taught me when I was young. Guojing sighed. There are so many matters I can never understand. If I had read more books and learned more sayings, I would have understood more. Hong Rong said, That may not always be the case. My father always tells me that a lot of sayings by saints and scholars are nothing but rubbish. I often see my father reading and saying out loud, No, what nonsense, this is atrocious. Sometimes he would also say, What saint, a pack of rubbish. Guojing laughed out loud upon hearing how Hong Rong described her father. Hong Rong continued, I somehow regret spending so much time studying novels and practicing art and calligraphy. If I hadn't pestered my father to teach me such stuff, as well as all sorts of other things, such as the interesting ways of calculations, I would have devoted more time to practice my martial arts, and we wouldn't have to be afraid of people like Mei Chaofeng and the old Liang creature. But don't worry, Brother Jing, you've learnt Qigong's 18... but short of 3 dragon subduing palms, and thus you don't have to fear the old Liang creature anymore. Guojing shook his head and said, I don't think that's possible. Hong Rong laughed and said, It's a pity Qigong left. If not, I would have confiscated and hidden his dog-beating stick and forced him to teach you the remaining 3 stances before returning it to him. Wait, did we miss something? I thought Qigong was staying to teach him the rest of the 18 dragon subduing palms. Guojing hurriedly said, No, I'm more than satisfied to be able to learn these 15 stances. How can we make trouble for Senior Qigong? Both started chatting and stopped rowing, allowing the wind to sail the boat freely. Unknowingly, they were already miles away from the shore. They saw a fisherman lazily fishing from a boat. Not far away, there was a servant at the tip of the boat. Hong Rong pointed and said, As the mist clears, one can see the shape of a straight bamboo rod. It's just like a painting of water-inked scenery. Guojing asked, What's water-inked scenery? That's paintings which only use blank ink and no other colors. Blank ink? Like black ink? Guojing saw the green hills, blue waters, white clouds, and orange sun, but could not find anything black in color. He shook his head and did not understand Hong Rong's words. Hong Rong chatted more with Guojing. After she turned around, She saw that the fisherman was still sitting straightly in front of the boat, and his rod had not moved an inch. Hongrong laughed. This person does have a lot of patience. Yeah, for some reason, this chapter we get a bunch of pages. A gust of wind blew over, and little waves of water clashed gently against the boat. Hongrong swung her arms freely and started singing. The translator skipped the lyrics. A song entitled The Water Dragon's Hum, which talks about life on the lake. She finished singing the first part of the song before resting a little. Guojing noticed tears in her eyes and was just about to ask her the meaning of the song when suddenly they heard a melancholic voice singing the exact same song Huangrong was singing earlier, except that it was the second part of the song. When they looked out, it seemed like the fisherman was the one singing the song. His voice sounded somewhat forceful, yet poised. Guojing did not understand what both of them were singing, but thought that it sounded very nice. However, when Huangrong heard the song, she looked stunned. Guojing asked, "What's the matter?" Huangrong answered, "My father often sings this song. I didn't expect a common fisherman to know it too. Let's check it out." Both of them rowed the boat over it only to see the fisherman keep his fishing rod and row his boat forward. When both boats neared each other, the fisherman asked, "To think me fortunate enough to meet such special guests, can I invite you in for a drink?" Hongrong thought his speech sounded composed and refined. She was secretly curious and answered, "We are afraid to bother Senior, you." We are afraid to bother Senior. The fisherman laughed. "Ha ha ha ha. It's not easy to meet such special guests, but since we meet by chance on the lake, we should treasure it. Please, come over." Kind of wish they didn't cut out the lyrics. Yeah. Yeah, translator was too lazy. The two boats sailed even closer. Huangrong and Guojing rowed the boat behind the tail of the other boat and crossed over to greet the fisherman. The fisherman greeted them whilst being seated and said, "Please, be seated. I am crippled, so I can't stand up. I apologize for any inconvenience." Guojing and Huangrong said, "It's all right." Both of them sat down and observed the fisherman. He looked about 40 years of age, had a rather thin face, and looked as if he were ill. He was very tall, and even though he was seated, he was still half a head taller than Guojing. The servant at the tail of the boat began warming up some wine. Huangrong said, "My brother's surname is Guo, whereas Junior here is surnamed Huang. I was excited for a moment and started singing in the middle of the lake. But I haven't offended Senior, have I?" The fisherman laughed. "Ha ha ha ha. I am fortunate to be able to listen to such a clear voice. My surname is Lu. Little brother, is it your first time touring this lake?" Guojing answered, "Yes." The fisherman ordered the servant to bring out some dishes and wine for the guests. Although the 4 dishes were nothing compared to Huangrong's cooking, it tasted good too, and the wine cups and dish plates looked very unique, and no doubt belonged to some precious collection. 3 of them started drinking. The fisherman said, "Just now I heard little brother here singing the song The Water Dragon's Hum, which has such perfect lyrics. It is such a surprise that little brother here, though so young in age, is still able to comprehend the deep meanings of the words." I think he means little sister. Oh, yeah, little brother, because she's in disguise. When Hongrong heard his matured tone, she gave a little smile and said, Ever since the songs moved south, songwriters often write sad songs for the country. The fisherman nodded in agreement. Hongrong continued. The song The Six Cities, dedicated to Lake Jiangju Yu, has the same meaning. The fisherman started singing the lyrics. When people pass by, one would cry tears of loyalty and anger. He drank up 3 cups of wine and engaged in conversation with Hongrong. Actually, Hongrong was just a young girl and did not experience any real sorrows caused by one's country. She did not really identify with the deep meaning of the lyrics. It's just that she listened to her father explain the meanings before, and thus used her father's explanation, which was a very refined and sophisticated one, awing the fisherman, who could not help but give praises to Hongrong. Guojing listened in one corner and did not understand a single word, but he was delighted upon hearing the fisherman praise Hongrong. After chatting a while, he saw that the landscape had paled, and the mist surrounding the lake had thickened. The fisherman said, My area of residence is just by the lake. If you both don't mind, I would like to invite both of you there for more discussions. Hongrong asked, How about it, Brother Jing? Guojing hadn't had a chance to speak when the fisherman said, My house is built amongst the backdrop of beautiful hills. Since both of you are touring the countryside, why not drop by for a visit? Guojing saw that he looked honest and earnest, and thus answered, Runger will thus have to impose on Mr. Lu. The fisherman was delighted, and implored the servant to row the boat back home. When they reached the lake shore, Guojing said, We will have to return the boat first and collect the 2 camels. The fisherman smiled and said, I'm acquainted with everyone here. I'll just hand this task to the owner of the boat. With that, he gestured to the servant. Guojing said, I think I'll collect the camels since I'm more rough. If you insist, I'll wait for your arrival at my residence then. With that, the boat rowed off and disappeared into the distance. The servant followed Guojing and Hongrong to get the things done. He got a large boat from one of the villagers, which had enough space to fit the camel as well. 6 hardy fishermen rowed the boat for some distance before the front of a village came into view. They stopped the boat at the jetty, which was made of green stone. When they arrived on the shore, they saw a cluster of small houses, which formed a huge manor. They crossed a large stone bridge and arrived in front of the manor. Guojing and Hongrong looked at each other, as they didn't expect a fisherman to live in such a luxurious place. Before they could reach the main entrance, they saw a man who looked about 20 years of age come up to them. About 6 servants followed behind him. The youth said, My father has sent me to receive his guests. Guojing and Hongrong made grateful gestures. They noticed that he wore a long robe and had similar facial features as the fisherman, except that he looked stronger and well built. Guojing said, May we know Brother Lu's name? The youth said, This humble one here is named Guangying. Please, just call me by my name. Hongrong answered politely, No, how can we? The 3 began chatting while proceeding towards the main hall. Guojing and Hongrong noticed that the interior of the hall was designed and decorated beautifully. As Hongrong walked earlier, she concentrated on the outlay of the place and its pathways, and she looked a little puzzled. As the 3 of them crossed the front yard and entered the guest hall, they heard the fisherman call out behind a screen. Please, come in. Lu Guanying said, My father is unable to walk and thus has to receive you in his east study room. The three of them went by the screen and saw that the door of the study was open. The fisherman was sitting on a couch inside. Okay, what is this guy's deal, huh? What do you guys think? However, he was no longer dressed as a fisherman, but as an elderly scholar. He held a white goose feather fan in his hand and was fanning himself cheerfully. Guo Jing and Huang Rong entered and sat, but Lu Guanying didn't dare sit and stood at a side. Huang Rong saw that the study was filled with shelves of literary classics and poetry collections. The tables were decorated with precious ornaments such as jade antiques, and a black inked painting hung on the wall. The painting depicted a middle-aged scholar who was posing with a sword stance in the backyard under the moonlight. But the scholar had a lonely expression on his face. On the upper left corner of the painting was a poem. He did not dare sit and stand at a side. How could he possibly do this? What? The night is silent, without any chirping from the birds. It is already late in the night when I fall into deep sleep. I awake only to carry on alone. There is no one but the bright moon out there. 100 pieces gain recognition and success. Aging hills and withering branches block my path. There are so many things buried within me, but no one is willing to listen. To whom can I confide in my problems? Huang Rong recognized this poem as one written by Yue Fei, entitled Little Strong Hill, which was taught to her by her father. She saw the signature at the bottom, which read, "The crippled person of 5 Lakes is seriously ill," and realized that the crippled person of 5 Lake must be the term for the owner of this manor. The strokes of the words were, however, written in a harsh and forceful manner, and seemed like it was tearing through the paper. Master Lu saw that Huang Rong was concentrating on the painting and asked, "Brother, how do you find my painting? Would you care to give me some pointers?" Huang Rong answered, "I will express my thoughts then, but I hope Master Lu does not get offended. Please go on." The poem in the painting is Yue Fei's Little Strong Hill, which he wrote in his Wu Mu collections. The words depict a distressed and depressed mood. However, there are specific meanings to them. General Yue was a courageous soul and fought hard for his country and his people. The phrase 100 pieces for recognition and success in the poem is probably to show his humble being. At that time, many court officials were corrupted and were on the side of the Jins. Yue Fei was a strong official, but a pity no one was willing to listen to him. This was probably why he wrote the phrase, "There are so many things buried within me, but no one is willing to listen. To whom can I confide in my problems?" The phrase depicts a despondent Yue Fei, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he wanted to oppose the court. However, when Master here wrote this poem, you were in an agitated and aggressive mood, and thus asserted much force in your brush strokes. It seems as if you wanted to fight it out with your sworn enemy, and thus your intentions and mood do not tie in at all with Yue Fei's at the time when he worked on his Wu Mu collections. Forgive me for my ignorance, but from what I know, if one strives to overachieve or overexpress in literary and art works, the true and pure intentions will be lost, and the work will be unable to achieve its brilliance. Yeah. When Master Lu heard what Huang Rong said, he gave a long sigh. Hey. He wore a miserable expression and was silent. Huang Rong saw his unusual response and thought, "I'm afraid I have been too direct with my words and offended him, but it's exactly what my father taught me when he explained this poem." She said, "This humble one here has been too ignorant and spouted nonsense. Please, forgive me, Master Lu." Master Lu recovered a little and then wore a delighted expression on his face. He asked happily, Brother Huang, please don't say that. You are the first person who can actually read my feelings, and what a great confidant you are. As for the overuse of expression, it is one of my worst habits. I thank brother here for your pointers. He turned to his son and said, Hurry and ask the servants to prepare the banquet. Psyduck, you found the song from the 2008 adaptation, but it doesn't have the lyrics? Oh well. Guojing and Huangrong hurriedly conveyed their thanks and said, Please, don't bother. But Lu Guanying had already disappeared from the room. Master Lu said, Brother here is wise and knowledgeable. You must have mastered a high level of literary classics, and your father must be a brilliant teacher. I wonder what is his honorable name? Hongrong answered, This humble one here knows nothing much, and thus does not deserve all those praises. My father lives in isolation and does not have any students. His name is thus not well known. Master Lu sighed. Hey, what a pity it is, not being able to meet such talent. After the banquet, they returned to the study for a chat. Master Lu said, The scenery outside is one of the best. Why don't you both of you reside in one of the houses in the manor and enjoy the sight? Furthermore, it's getting late, and it is time for both to rest. So it's only Master Lu and Huangrong talking. Guojing was just quiet the entire time. Guojing and Huangrong stood up and bid their farewells. Huangrong was about to leave the room when she looked up sharply and saw that 8 pieces of iron strips were fixed above the study's lintel. The iron strips were arranged to form the 8 trigrams, but it was not as neat as the usual arrangement. The iron strips were arranged in a rather sloppy and messy way. Huangrong's heart skipped a beat, but she remained silent and expressionless and followed Guojing to the guest room. The guest room was decorated in an elegant way. The 2 beds faced each other, and the pillow and sheets were clean. A servant served them some fragrant tea and said, If sir or miss needs anything, just ring the bell beside the bed, and I will come. Please be reminded never to leave the room. With that, he left the room and gently closed the door behind him. Hongrong asked in a low voice, What do you find peculiar about this place? Why do they ask us not to leave the room? Is something going on? Guojing said, The manor is huge, and the pathways lead out to all directions. Maybe they're afraid that we will get lost? Hongrong gave a little laugh. The manor has an unusual architecture. What kind of person do you think Master Lu is? Maybe a retired official. Hongrong shook her head. This person is no doubt highly skilled in martial arts. Did you see the 8 iron trigrams just now? Guojing asked. 8 iron trigrams? What's that? That's used to practice the thrusting air palms. Father taught me this set of palm techniques before, but I was bored and stopped learning it after a month. I would never have expected to see it here. Master Lu means us no harm. Since he did not mention anything about it, let's just pretend that we are unaware of it. Hongrong nodded and smiled. She gently thrust out her palm towards the candle, and a chi sound was heard before the candlelight went out. Guojing praised in a low voice. Great palm technique. He asked, Is this the thrusting air palm? Hongrong smiled. I only learned it till this level. It can be used for fun, but it is totally useless when used in a real duel. There was a sudden, distant humming in the middle of the night, which startled Guojing and Hongrong, who were both sleeping before that. They strained to hear more, and there was the sound again, which sounded like someone was blowing a tune from a seashell. After a while, the humming started again. There was definitely more than one person creating the noise, as both hums were created at the same time. It seemed like there were two people standing apart and blowing the shell to communicate. Okay, so I think this translator is better than Mojo Jojo. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think it's not bad. Hongrong whispered, "Let's go and see what's up." Guojing answered, Let's not go and find trouble, shall we?" Hongrong argued, "Who says we're finding trouble? I only suggested for us to check out what's happening." Both of them pushed open the window gently. Worst translator in the Three Kingdoms? Oh no. Both of them pushed open the window gently and looked out. They saw many people running about with lanterns in their arms, but there was no clue as to why they were rushing about. Hongrong looked up and saw 3 or 4 blurred figures crouching on the nearby rooftop. Uh-oh. The light from the lanterns shone briefly onto the figures, and Hongrong saw the swift light reflecting from the weapons, which those people carried in their arms. After a while, the crowd of servants all ran out of the manor. Hongrong was curious and pulled Guojing towards the side of the window. She made sure no one was about and gently leaped out such that the people on the roof weren't aware of her movements. Hongrong signaled to Guojing to walk backwards. The pathways in the manor turned and twisted such that the directions were very complicated. The most unusual thing was that the railings and pillars at every turn looked exactly the same. After a few whirls, one would not be able to distinguish between the different directions. Hongrong, however, was not the slightest bothered about this obstacle and walked around without any tint of worry or suspicion. Several times it looked as if there was no pathway, but she always managed to identify a fake rock or revolve past it, or she would just twirl around the flowers and they would be back on the main path. At times it looked as if it was a dead end in front, but somehow or another there would always be a way past a screen of a huge tree. At times there would be a path through the opening of a grotto, but Hongrong would never walk through. Instead, she would miraculously be able to identify a hidden and unnoticeable entrance on the walls and push through to enter. The more Guojing proceeded on, the more curious he became. He whispered, "Ronger, the pathways of this manor are really bizarre. How is it that you are always able to identify the right way?" Hongrong signaled for him to be quiet, and after 7 or 8 more turns, they arrived by the wall of the backyard. Hongrong examined the wall and used her fingers to count before walking and counting her footsteps. Guojing heard her mumble, "Form a trigram first, thirdly prepare, fifthly supplement, repeat the 7th, and did not understand a single word. Hongrong counted as she walked, and after a particular count, she stopped in her tracks and said, "We can only leave by here. The rest of the place is filled with traps." She leapt onto the top of the wall, and Guojing followed suit. Hongrong continued, "This manor is built according to the 64 bearings, which are concealed. My father is a master in this particular type of architecture, which requires one to design 8 different types of routes. Master Lu can obstruct others, but he can't trap me." Her tone was filled with pride. Both of them climbed up a small mound situated behind the manor and looked out towards the east. They saw a person walking towards the lake with a lantern raised high up. Hongrong tugged at Guojing's sleeve, and both of them flew forward using their lightness skill. After arriving closer, they hid behind a huge rock and noticed a row of fishing boats near the shores of the lake. A crowd of people slowly boarded the boats, and after they did so, each put out their lantern lights. Guojing and Hongrong waited till the last batch of people boarded, and after it was pitch dark, before leaping out and landed on the tail of a large ship. After they heard the fishing boats start to move, they leaped on top of the sail of the ship and looked down. It was then they saw someone sitting inside a room in the boat, and the person was none other than the junior owner of the manor, Lu Guanyin. As the row of boats started moving, the tune from the seashell could be heard again. A person on the ship walked to the front and also started blowing into the shell. After the ship drifted some distance, one could see many little boats drifting on the lake. The myriad of little boats looked like tiny ants in the distance. It was as if one had painted millions of black dots on a large sheet or paper. The person on the ship blew his shell 3 times, and the large boat dropped its vessel into the midst of the lake. About 10 little boats started moving in from all directions. Guojing and Hongrong were mystified. They were not sure whether a battle was going to take place. They lowered their heads and peeped at Lu Guangyin, who, however, looked calm and normal. He did not show any hint of anxiousness, as one would show in times of war. Not long after, the boats sailed nearer. Every boat saw either 2 or 3 people coming out and entering the ship. Every person, after entering the huge boat, would bow to Lu Guanyin and were respectful in their behavior. It seemed that seats had been arranged for the visitors from the little boats, and according to their status. Some people arrived earlier but sat at the back, whereas some who arrived later got to sit in the front. A tea server ushered the visitors into their seats. The visitors had stern and rough expressions, and their actions were swift and fierce. Although they dressed like fishermen, it seemed as if all of them were versed in martial arts, and were definitely not the usual type of fishermen. What's going on here? Some kind of gathering. Alright. Good time for a break, guys. I will be right back in 5 minutes. And we're back. All right. Let's see what this meeting is all about. Lu Guanyin raised his arm and said, "Brother Zhang, what have you found out?" A skinny man sitting in the middle stood up and said, "To answer Junior Master, the Jin ambassador has decided to sail across the lake tonight. The captain, who is on the pretext of receiving him, would reach in probably an hour's time. The latter is late due to the ransacking on the way." Lu Guanyin asked, "How much has he ransacked?" The man answered, "There have been harvests from every village, and his soldiers are still robbing the villagers now. When I saw him alight the boat, his soldiers were struggling with more than 20 heavy chests of treasures." Lu Guanyin asked, "How many soldiers and horses does he have with him?" The man answered, "About 2,000. Those who cross the lake with him do not have horses with them. Since there are not enough boats, there are about 1,000 of them who stay back at shore." Lu Guanyin turned towards the audience and asked, "Fellow brothers, what do you guys think?" Everyone answered, "We will follow Junior Master's orders." Lu Guanyin placed both hands into his sleeves and said, "These corrupted officials go round snatching money through immoral means. We, the people from the lake, would not be doing justice if we do not get back those treasures and money. We will do our best to grab as much as we can. Half of it will go to the poor villagers by the lake, and the other half will be split between us." Rebels? Maybe. The audience all roared in agreement. It was then that Guojing and Hongrong realized that these people were the pirates of the lake, and Lu Guanyin was probably their leader. Lu Guanyin said, "Without further ado, Without further ado, let's get going. Brother Zhang, take 5 small boats and continue to keep watch." The skinny man took the order and immediately sailed out. Lu Guanying went on to assign everyone their tasks, such as who would lead, who would be the backups, who would lead the water ghosts to swim and create damage to the enemy's boat, who would grab the treasures, who would capture the officials, and so on. He dutifully assigned the various tasks in a very organized way. Guojing and Hongrong were secretly puzzled. They had just dined and chatted with Lu Guanying earlier in the day, and found him to be a polite, proper, and decent chap, not forgetting that he was from a wealthy and cultivated family. Who would have guessed that he was a pirate leader? Such as Lu Guanying had finished, just as Lu Guanying had finished assigning the various tasks, and everyone was setting out, someone in the middle stood up and said coldly, "We people have no assets whatsoever. It is all right to rob some wealthy businessmen, but if we attack such an official, won't we have trouble living on the lake in the future? We should not offend the Jin ambassador." Guojing and Huangrong thought the voice sounded familiar. When they squinted to have a better look, they realized that this was Sha Tongtian's disciple, one of the four ghosts of the Yellow River, stealing Soul's whip, Ma Qingxiong. They did not know how he ended up in the group. Lu Guanying's expression changed. He had yet to answer when a few pirates in the crowd started hooting. Lu Guanying said, "Brother Ma is a first-timer and doesn't know the rules here. Since everyone is determined to carry out the task, we'll give our all and make sure the soldiers have no chance to retaliate. Only then will we die without regrets." Ma Qingxiong answered, "All right, you people go on ahead. I would rather not get involved and get myself into trouble." With that, he turned and started to walk out of the boat. Two men blocked him and cried out, "Brother Ma, you swore that you will go through thick and thin with us." Ma Qingxiong pushed out with both palms and retorted, "Get lost." The two men were hit and fell to the side. As Ma Qingxiong was about to leave the boat, he suddenly felt a gust of wind flow towards his back. When the wind flowed past him, he used his left hand to retrieve a dagger from his boot, twisted his arm, and pierced the dagger behind. Lu Guanying stretched out his left arm and positioned it on the entrance door. At the same time, he leaped and thrust his palm forward. Ma Qingxiong used his right arm to block the attack, while using his left arm to pierce the dagger forward. The two men exchanged attacks on the narrow passage of the ship. Guojing once fought with Ma Qingxiong back in Mongolia. When he first saw Lu Guanying's moves, he thought that it would not be easy for him to win. But after a few more moves, Lu Guanying kept gaining the upper hand and was clearly going to win. Guojing was suspicious and thought, "Why is that Ma guy suddenly not so strong anymore? Ah yes, that day when he fought with me, he had the support of his martial brothers, but now he's singly surrounded by so many enemies. Of course he'll be afraid." But Guojing did not know that the real reason lay in Hong Qigong's training for the past 2 months. Guojing had mastered 15 stances of the world's renowned 18 dragon-subduing palms, accompanied by pointers and advice provided by Hong Qigong himself. Because of this, although he did not understand the full essence of the skill, his martial arts had improved tremendously and were at a very much higher level than the average skills he learned from the 7 freaks of Jiangnan. But at this point in time, Guojing was still unaware that his skills had already surpassed his 6 teachers. No, he's already better than the 6 freaks? Oh, damn. And thus, he still thought that he was less superior than Ma Qingxiong. He saw the two men further exchange a couple of stunts when Lu Guanying shot out his left fist and a "pa" sound was heard. The blow had hit Ma Qingxiong in the chest, who stumbled and fell back. 2 pirates behind him pierced him with their daggers, and Ma Qingxiong lay dead. Ooh. The 2 pirates then lifted up the corpse and threw it into the lake. They made quick work of that guy. Lu Guanying continued, "Brothers, let's embrace our mission bravely." The crowd began to cheer loudly, and each separated, went back to their respective boats, and began to head east. Lu Guanying's huge boat sailed right at the back of the others. After a while, they spotted around 10 huge and brightly lit boats from afar, heading west towards them. Guojing and Hongrong thought to themselves, "These big boats must belong to those officials." The two secretly climbed up the pole of the ship and sat on top at the beam, or roof, but hid themselves behind the sail. They heard the seashell tune from the little boats, and as both opposing sides came closer, there were sounds of yelling, scolding, clashing of weapons, and the sounds of splashing as bodies dropped into the water. After a while, the officials' boats were on fire, which lit up the dark sky and cast a fiery red shadow over the lake. Guojing and Hongrong knew that the pirates had succeeded in their mission and saw a few little boats sailing forward furiously with shouts of, "The soldiers have been defeated and the commander has been caught." Lu Guanying was delighted. He walked to the head of the ship and shouted, "Inform the various chiefs of each boat to put in a little more effort so that we can capture the Jin ambassador." The pirate who delivered the news obeyed and flew off to pass the message. Guojing and Hongrong nudged each other at the same time and had the same thoughts. That Jin ambassador must be Wen Yan Kang. I wonder how will he deal with this? They heard the seashell tune coming from various boats again, and saw that the group of boats had turned back towards their direction, and the pirates were tugging at their sails. The east wind was suddenly blowing furiously, causing the boats to sail like arrows shooting towards the east. Lu Guanying's ship was actually right at the back of the fleet, but now his ship had become the lead. Guojing and Hongrong were sitting on the roof with the wind blowing on their backs. They were sailing fast across the misty lake, and the myriad of stars in the sky came into view, such that they had the urge to sing out loud. Suddenly, the little boats sailed past one by one and ended up in front of the ship Guojing and Hongrong were on. The boats sailed for about an hour, and the sky turned brighter before two boats sailed quickly towards the ship. One of the men in the boat raised a green flag and waved it, shouting, "We have spotted the Jin ship. The commanding boat has already taken to lead to capture it." Lu Guanying was standing in the front of his ship and called out, "Good!" After a short while, another small boat sailed back and reported, "That bastard Jin ambassador has deadly claws. Our commander is injured, but leader Peng and Dong are currently trying to subdue him." After a while, two pirates carried an injured and unconscious commander onto Lu Guanying's ship. Lu Guanying was inspecting the wounds when two small boats rowed up, and the pirates helped their two injured commanders of the boats up onto the ship. The pirates also reported that Piao Miao Peaks' leader Guo suffered a deadly blow from the Jin ambassador and fell into the lake. Lu Guanying was furious and shouted, "I am going to personally kill that vicious Jin dog." Guojing and Hongrong felt strongly against Wen Yan Kang's actions, but could not bear to let him fend off the group of pirates alone, as this would also make Mu Nianzi hate them forever. Hongrong whispered into Guo Jing's ear, "Are we going to help him?" "No, guys, don't help him. Let him die." Guo Jing replied with a slight sigh, "Save him, but make him repent." Hongrong nodded. At the same time, Lu Guanying leaped onto a small boat and yelled, "Let's go!" Hongrong and Guojing said, "Let's go and stop the small boat." Both of them leaped onto the side of the small boat and heard some shouting from the group of pirates in front. They looked out and saw the boats under the Jin ambassador slowly sinking one by one. They thought that it must have been the doings of the water ghosts who were in charge of wrecking the bases of the boats underwater. As the pirates waved the green flag, two small boats hurriedly rowed over and reported, "The Jin dog has fallen into the water and has already been captured by us." Okay, so Yan Kang is captured. Lu Guanying was delighted and leaped back onto his ship. After a while, the seashell tune was blown again, and the various little boats assembled together, one by one, bringing along with them the Jin ambassador and his guards onto the ship. Guojing and Huangrong saw that Wen Yan Kang had his hands and feet bounded by ropes, and his eyes were tightly shut. They thought that he must have swallowed too much water, but his chest had not contracted, and he was still breathing. At this time, the sky was already bright, as the sunlight shone brightly from the east, revealing a line of boats floating gracefully on the lake. Lu Guanying commanded, "The various leaders may return to the manor and hold a banquet to celebrate. Please lead your teams back and await your rewards." The pirates cheered clamorously, and the boats slowly parted ways and slowly disappeared into the cloud of mist. And the lake became peaceful and quiet once more. Guojing and Huangrong waited for the ship to sail back to the Lu Manor, and after Lu Guanying and his group of pirates left, did they fly back to the shore. The pirates were overjoyed with their rewards and did not notice that there were people secretly hiding on their ship. Huangrong thought out the directions and led Guojing into the manor via the backyard and back into their room. At this time, the servant who took care of their orders had checked a few times to see if they had woken up, but seeing that the room door was still locked, he thought that the two young men must have had a long day yesterday and thus slept longer. After they got back into their room, Guojing opened the door, and two servants who had stood outside waiting came forward to greet him before bringing up some breakfast and said, "Master Lu is waiting in his study. Please go and join him after your breakfast." The two ate some snacks and buns before following the servant to the study. Master Lu smiled and said, "The winds by the lake are strong, and when they blow against the shore, the noise might be disturbing. So did you two sleep well?" Guojing wasn't used to lying, so when he heard the question, he froze for a moment. Hongrong answered, "We only heard sounds of seashell humming during the night. I think it must have been the monks and Taoist priests chanting and practicing their rituals." Master Lu laughed and did not ask any more. Instead, he said, "I have collected some artistic works, and would like two brothers here to have a look." Hongrong answered, "Of course. Anything which Master Lu collects must be priceless." Master Lu ordered the study keeper to bring out some artistic pieces, and Hongrong observed each of the pieces curiously. Suddenly, there were noises which sounded like they came from outside. They could hear footsteps, and it sounded like a group of people chasing a person. A voice said, "Since you stepped into the manor, it would be impossible for you to escape now." Master Lu acted as if nothing had happened, and as if he didn't hear anything, and asked, "The art of calligraphy in our dynasty is dominated by the four families of Su, Huang, Mi, and Tai. I wonder which family does Brother Huang like the best?" He's just ignoring the commotion outside. Hongrong was about to answer when the door of the study suddenly slammed open, and a person who was wet from head to toe rushed in. It was Wen Yan Kang. What the? Oh no! Hongrong tugged on Guojing's sleeve and whispered, "Look at the art pieces. Don't look at him." The two turned around and lowered their heads to the calligraphy works. Actually, Wen Yankang didn't know how to swim, and thus, when his boat sunk earlier on, although he was well versed in martial arts, he could not save himself. He then fainted, and when he regained consciousness, he was already captured and brought to the manor for questioning by Lu Guanying. Wen Yankang saw that the guarding pirate did not carry his usual dagger, and secretly came up with a plan. He summoned his internal strength and used his fingers to grab onto the ropes, which bounded him, before yelling out and used the 9 yin white bone claws to free himself of the ropes. The group of guards were stunned and rushed forward to capture him, but were attacked by his claws and fell to the ground. Wen Yankang ran off, but who would have guessed that the manor was structured with bizarre mazes, and if a stranger did not know the secret to the formations and did not have a guide from the manor, he or she would get stuck in the manor. Wen Yankang got anxious after he could not find his way out, and barged into Master Lu's study. Although Lu Guanying saw that he had freed himself of the ropes, he knew that Wen Yankang would not be able to find his way out of the manor, and thus did not worry. He chased after Wen Yankang and saw him dash into Master Lu's study. Afraid that his father would get hurt, he hurriedly dashed forward and stood in front of his father. The various section leaders of Lake Tai blocked the doorway. Wen Yankang was furious for being trapped. He pointed a finger at Lu Guanying and yelled, "Despicable pirates! You people use dirty tricks to sink my boat. Have you no sense of shame? Aren't you afraid to be mocked by other Jianghu swordsmen?" Lu Guanying laughed heartily and said, "You are a Jin prince. What business do you have with us Han swordsmen? What has Jianghu people have to do with you?" Wen Yankang answered, "When I was in Beijing, I heard of many stories regarding the heroes in Jiangnan, and thought that the men in Jiangnan were all upright and courageous. But ha! Who would have thought that in actual fact, you people do not live up to your reputations at all?" Lu Guanying was furious and shouted, "So?" Wen Yankang, "Good reply, Lu Guanying. Nicely done." Wen Yankang answered, "You people are no more than just despicable cowards who use vast strengths to win over one person." Lu Guanying laughed coldly. "So if anyone takes you on solely and win, then you will die without regrets?" Wen Yankang was actually using words to infuriate Lu Guanying, so as to trick him into saying exactly this. He immediately replied, "If the manor has one person who can win me in terms of fighting, I willingly give in and will die without regrets. But I wonder who would I spar with?" As he said this, he arrogantly looked through the crowd with hands behind him and laughed coldly. These words angered Lake Tai's Mo Li Peak's chief, the section leader, Golden Rock Head, who shouted, "Bastard! I'm going to beat you up!" With that, he rushed into the study, stretched out both fists, and using the sounds of the striking bells, he aimed towards Wen Yankang's Taiyang point. Wen Yankang gently shifted his body and flipped his left palm to grab hold of his opponent's back robe before swinging him out of the door. Lu Guanying, seeing Wen Yankang's vicious strikes, was secretly alarmed. He knew that none of the section heads were his match, and yelled, "Excellent skills! Let me exchange a few stances with you. Let's go out to the yard." Lu Guanying knew that his opponent was strong, and was afraid that if they fought in the study, one of them would accidentally harm his father and his guests, as none of them knew how to fight. Wen Yankang answered, "It's the same wherever we fight. Why not just stay here? Please, display your stance, section leader." when actually his tone was hinting another meaning, which Wen Yankang was actually thinking in his heart. I only have to use a few stances to defeat you. Why bother to change a place to fight? Lu Guanying was secretly seething and said, All right, since you are the guest, please start first then. Wen Yankang relaxed his right palm, but used his left palm to attack Lu Guanying's chest. His first stance was already using that of the 9 yin white bone claws, bent on injuring his opponent. Lu Guanying secretly scolded, Arrogant fellow, let me show you what I am capable of. He sucked in his chest subtly, but did not retreat. Instead, he used his right fist to attack his opponent's moving elbow, while two of his left fingers pointed towards Wen Yankang's face, with the intention of piercing his eyes. Wen Yankang saw that his stances were swift and was a little nervous. He secretly thought to himself, Who would have thought there would be such a skilled fighter in this rural place? With that, he hurriedly retreated half a step, flipped his wrist, and aimed at Lu Guanying's shoulder. Lu Guanying twisted his waist towards the right and took back both of his arms. Wen Yankang knew that his opponent was strong and did not dare to disregard him anymore. He became serious and displayed the Chenjin fist techniques, which Qiu Chuqi had taught him. Lu Guanying was a favorite pupil of Reverend Ku Mo of Yunqi Monastery. He learned the fist techniques of the Xianxia school, which was affiliated with the Shaolin Monastery in the hills of Hunan. Therefore, the skills Lu Guanying learned were also orthodox. He was cautious of his opponent and used different skills to counter whatever his opponent used. He knew that Wen Yankang's claw techniques were superior, and thus made sure that he didn't let Wen Yankang's fingers touch his body. When he saw the chance to attack Wen Yankang, he used his legs. His teacher had taught him, Use 30% of your fists and 70% of your legs. Your hands are just like fans. Concentrate on your kicks. Lu Guanying learned skills that did not belong to his family, and his kicking techniques were excellent. The longer the two fought, the faster their stances became, and it looked like two dancing shadows sparring with each other in the study. Guo Jing and Huang Rong did not want Wen Yankang to recognize them, and thus retreated to the sides of the bookshelf and secretly observed the fighting. Wen Yankang was getting agitated the longer he fought on, and secretly thought to himself, If this goes on, even if I can defeat him this round, there will still be others wanting to spar with me, and by that time, how will I have any energy left to fight? His skills were actually much more superior than Lu Guanying, but because he was nearly drowned and swallowed too much water such that he lost quite a bit of energy, and his body was exhausted. Furthermore, it was the first time he was trapped in this sort of situation, and thus was somewhat nervous, therefore allowing Lu Guanying to gain the upper hand for more than 10 stances. He forced himself to concentrate and put more force in his attacks. A crack sound was heard as Lu Guanying's shoulder was injured by Wen Yankang's fist. Lu Guanying stumbled and retreated backwards. He saw that his opponent was taking the chance to attack further and leaped up, kicking his right leg towards Wen Yankang's chest. The stance, called bosom kick, I like that, is a very swift and powerful stunt, which Lu Guanying had practiced since young. He had to tie himself to a rope so as to train his speed, since the stunt emphasizes on the swiftness of the kick, such that the opponent is caught by surprise and cannot defend himself in time. Wen Yankang felt a pain in his chest, and he twirled his right hand and pierced his fingers into Lu Guanying's calf. He used his left palm and thrust towards Lu Guanying's calf before yelling, "Lay down!" Lu Guanying was actually standing on one foot, but after that strong push by Wen Yankang, he lost balance and fell backwards towards his father. Master Lu stretched out his left arm and caught Lu Guanying before gently placing him on the ground. When he saw the blood which flowed from his son's leg, he was shocked and furious. Master Lu shouted, "How are you related to the twin killers of the dark winds?" Everyone was surprised when Master Lu intervened. Wen Yankang and the various section leaders were unaware that Master Lu knew martial arts. Even his son, Lu Guanying, did not know that. Everyone thought that since Master Lu was crippled, it was natural that he did not know and could not fight. Even since he was young, Lu Guanying never asked or probed into his father's businesses, but who would have known that that stance which Master Lu displayed to save his son was steady and strong? Huang Rong saw the 8 iron trigrams on the study's lintel last night and pointed it out to Guo Jing. They were thus the only ones who did not seem that surprised. When Wen Yankang heard Master Lu ask about the twin killers of the dark winds, he froze for a moment before answering. "What is the twin killer of the dark winds?" Although Mei Chaofeng taught him martial arts, she never told him about her past before, and Wen Yankang did not even know her name. Therefore, it was understandable that he did not know anything about the twin killers of the dark winds. Master Lu was furious and shouted, "Who are you bluffing? Who taught you the deadly 9 yin white bone claws?" Wen Yankang replied, "I have no time to listen to your nonsense. Goodbye." With that, he turned and headed towards the door. The various section leaders were furious and took up their weapons, ready to guard the doorway. Wen Yankang turned towards Lu Guanying and laughed coldly. "Didn't you give your word just now?" Lu Guanying was pale and waved his arm, saying, "Heroes of the lake, keep to their promises. Brothers, just let him go. Brother Zhang, please, lead him out." The section leaders were all unwilling to do so, but since the junior master had given the orders, they could not oppose him. Leader Zhang said, "Follow me then. I bet you rascal here would not be able to find the way out yourself." Wen Yankang said, "Where are my men?" Lu Guanying replied, "Let them all go." Wen Yankang pointed to him and said, "Good. You are a man of your words. As for the rest of you leaders, till we meet again," he said rudely and arrogantly. Just as he was about to leave the room, Master Lu suddenly called out, "Hold it! This elder man here is untalented, but would like to have a taste of your 9 yin white bone claws." Wen Yankang stopped in his tracks and laughed. "All right." Lu Guanying hurriedly said, "Father, you should not deal with this rascal at your age." Master Lu replied, "Don't worry. His 9 yin white bone claws is not up to standard yet." He stared at Wen Yankang and said weakly, "I am crippled and I'm unable to move. Come here." Wen Yankang laughed but did not move. Lu Guanying's leg wounds were hurting, but he did not want his father to fight with Wen Yankang, and leaped out of the door, shouting, "I will represent my father to exchange a few blows with you." Wen Yankang laughed and said, "Good, let's practice again." Master Lu shouted, "Yinger, move away." With that, he leaped up. His left arm gripped the couch he was sitting on, and he used his left arm's strength to support the weight of his body. His right palm lashed out towards Wen Yankang's head. At the sound of the crowd's anxious gasps, Wen Yankang raised his hands to counter the blow, but felt his left wrist tighten and trapped. He saw that swift shadow of his opponent's palm, which was heading towards his shoulder. Wen Yankang did not expect his opponent's seizing stance to be so fast and unique. He hurriedly used his right hand to strike back, while struggling to free his left hand from his opponent. Master Lu shifted his weight onto Wan Yankang's wrist and was able to float in midair. His left palm unleashed several killer strikes, while Wan Yankang used all his might to escape his grip, but to no avail. He tried to unleash a flying kick towards Master Lu, but missed. The crowd was delighted as they watched the ongoing fight. Master Lu raised his palm, ready to unleash a strike onto Wen Yankang, when the latter stuck out his fingers and aimed towards Master Lu's palm. Master Lu suddenly lowered his palm and struck Wen Yankang's shoulder point. Wen Yankang felt his upper body going numb, and following that, his right wrist was also seized by Master Lu. Two sounds were heard before Wen Yankang's wrists were released. Master Lu's stance was very quick, as he used his right hand to push against Wen Yankang's waist, while his left hand pushed against Wen Yankang's shoulder, thus borrowing Wen Yankang's strength to leap back steadily into his couch. It's pretty badass. He's fighting with crippled legs. Wen Yankang felt both his legs giving way, and he collapsed. The leaders were stunned, and it was only after a moment's silence when they started to cheer. Lu Guanyin hurriedly ran towards the couch and asked, "Father, are you all right?" Master Lu smiled and shook his head, but his expression turned suspicious and said, "When the teacher of this Jin dog comes for him, I will have to talk to him properly." The two section leaders took some rope and tied Wan Yankang up. Leader Zhang said, "Amongst the belongings of that Commander Ma, we found iron locks and chains. Let's use it for this rascal and see whether he can break through them." The crowd cheered in agreement, and someone ran out to retrieve the chains and locks before returning to bind Wen Yankang with them. The pain in his wrists was killing him, and Wen Yankang sweated profusely, but he bore with it and refused to make any sound. Master Lu said, "Bring him here." Two men grabbed Wen Yankang by the shoulders and brought him in front of the couch. Master Lu tapped onto the points of Wen Yankang's lower spine and left chest. Wen Yankang suddenly felt the pain subsiding, and though he was still fuming inside, he was secretly surprised. But before he could say anything, he was brought away, while the other section leaders all left the room slowly. Master Lu then turned towards Huangrong and Guojing and smiled. "I only concentrated on fighting with that young man and forgot all my manners just now. I hope you won't laugh." So Huangrong and Guojing were just sitting there. Huangrong saw that his palm and acupoint techniques were that of her family's and was even more puzzled. Oh. So I think Master Lu used to be a disciple of Huangrong's father, probably. She smiled and asked, "Who was that? Did he steal from the manor and thus made Master angry?" Master Lu laughed heartily and said, "Ha ha ha. Yes, he did steal a lot from us. Come, let us not get distracted by that evil rascal. Let's continue to appreciate the art pieces." Lu Guanyin left the room to the three of them. Master Lu chatted about the scenic backdrops. He just did a whole fight and then back to talking about art. Master Lu chatted about the scenic backdrops, human expression, and more with Huang Rong, while Guo Jing just listened without understanding a single thing as usual. Her father must have crippled him when he went crazy. Yeah. After lunch, Master Lu ordered two servants to accompany them to tour the countryside, and they enjoyed themselves till nightfall, before returning back to the manor. Before sleeping, Guo Jing asked, How, Ronge? How are we supposed to save him? Are we going to save him? Hong Rong answered, Let's stay here for a few more days because I still can't guess Master Lu's true identity. Guo Jing answered, His skills are very similar to yours. Hong Rong sighed deeply. That's the unusual part. And, does he know Mei Chao Feng? The two could not guess and were afraid that someone would eavesdrop, and thus did not discuss further. In the middle of the night, they suddenly heard a slight sound on the rooftop, followed by a sound on the ground. They immediately got out of their beds, gently pushed open the window, and peered out. They saw a black shadow amongst the roses. That person looked around before heading towards the east. The person did not seem to be a resident of the manor, as he or she was alert and on guard. Huang Rong actually thought that this manor housed heroic pirates of the lake, but after seeing Master Lu's display of skills earlier, she felt curious and decided to find out more. She waved to Guo Jing, and they leaped out of the window, secretly trailing that intruder. After following that person for a while, the moonlight showed that she was a lady with average skills. Huang Rong quickened her pace and moved nearer to that lady, who turned her head slightly, revealing that it was Mu Nianzi. Oh. She wants to rescue Wen Yankang. Huang Rong laughed secretly and thought, Good. Now his rescuer has come. Let's see what tricks you will use. Mu Nianzi circled the garden and lost sense of direction after a while. Hong Rong knew the architecture of this garden, as her father Huang Yaoshi was a master of this and would discuss it with her once in a while. She thought the architecture of this garden unusual, but it was nothing compared to that of Peach Blossom Island, which was weird and confusing, just like its owner. Huang Rong thought to herself, If you carry on walking like that, you won't be able to find him even in 100 years. With that, she picked up some soil from the ground, and when she saw Mu Nianzi hesitating in her tracks, she threw a pile of soil to the left side of the track and said in a low voice, Go by that way, before hiding behind some flowers, okay, giving her hints. Mu Nianzi was alarmed. She turned around, but saw no one, and thus grabbed her dagger and walked towards the left. Huang Rong and Guo Jing's lightness skills were much better than hers, and had earlier hid themselves, not allowing her to spot them. Mu Nianzi was worried. She thought to herself, I wonder whether this person is helping or harming me. But since I can't find my way, I might as well just follow the directions given. With that, she followed the directions given and walked towards the left. Every time she came to a junction or crossroad, a small pile of soil would always lead her to the correct direction, and after some time, she heard a sound as a pile of soil was thrown forward and hit the window of a small hut. Mu Nianzi saw a blurred vision as two black figures quickly flew by and disappeared. Mu Nianzi thought a while and ran towards the small hut. She saw two guards lying on the floor. Though their eyes were wide open and looking at her, they were motionless and did not make a grab for their weapons. Mu Nianzi guessed that they must have had their acupoints sealed by someone. Munianzi knew that someone was secretly helping her. She pushed open the door gently and listened. There seemed to be someone breathing inside. She called out in a low voice, "Brother Kang, is that you?" Wen Yankang was surprised when he saw the guards at the door collapse, but when he heard Munianzi's voice, he was even more surprised and delighted. He called out hurriedly, "It's me!" Munianzi was overjoyed and walked towards the voice in the dark and said, "Thank God, I found you. That's great. Let's go." Wen Yankang replied, "Did you bring any weapons?" "Why?" Wen Yankang gently shook himself, and chain sounds could be heard. Munianzi stretched out her hand and touched the chains. She was full of regret and said furiously, "I shouldn't have given that dagger to Sister Huang." Ooh. She has no weapon. Huang Rong and Guo Jing were listening outside, and the former secretly laughed and thought to herself, "Let you worry for a while before I return you the dagger." Munianzi was anxious and said, "I'll go and steal the keys." Wen Yankang replied, "Don't go. The people in this manor are highly skilled. It's no point to risk yourself and get caught." Munianzi replied, "Then I'll carry you out." Wen Yankang laughed. "You give me a kiss." Munianzi moved away and said, "I'm so worried, and you can still joke?" Wen Yankang laughed cheekily. "Who's joking? I'm serious." Munianzi ignored him and tried to think of a plan. Wen Yankang asked, "How did you know I'm here?" Munianzi answered, "I followed you." Wen Yankang was touched and said, "You lean on me. I'll tell you something." Munianzi sat on the ground and leaned into his arms. Wen Yankang said, "I am the Jin ambassador, so I don't think they will dare do anything to me. But if I stay here any longer, it will affect Father's plans. What shall we do? Sister, help me with something." Munianzi asked, "What is it?" Wen Yankang answered, "Take off that golden seal hung on my neck." Munianzi stretched out her hand and took off the golden seal. The way to Wen Yankang's heart is through stalking? True. Wen Yankang continued, "This is the seal of the Jin ambassador. Take it to Lin'an Manor and seek assistance from Prime Minister Shi of the Song Dynasty." Munianzi asked, "Prime Minister Shi? Would he see a commoner like me?" Wen Yankang laughed. "When he sees this golden seal, he'll welcome you. Tell him that I've been captured by the pirates of Lake Tai and cannot see him personally. But you must remember one thing. If the Mongolian ambassador is there, make sure that you avoid letting him and the Prime Minister meet at all costs. This is the secret mission ordered by the Jin Emperor. You must fulfill it." Munianzi asked, "Why?" Wen Yankang answered, "These are army matters. You wouldn't understand. You will be doing me a great favor by telling Prime Minister Shi what I just asked you to. If the Mongolian ambassador reaches Lin'an first and meets with the Song officials, it will put us Jins in a very unfavorable position." Munianzi replied indignantly, "What? Us Jins? I am a citizen of the Song Dynasty. If you don't explain clearly to me, I am not going to help you with this mission." Wen Yankang smiled faintly. "Aren't you going to be the concubine of the Jins in the future?" Munianzi stood up angrily and said, "My godfather is your real father. You are in fact a Han. So you still want to be your Jin prince? I know. No, you." Wen Yankang answered, "What?" I always thought that you were a strong, smart, and upright man. Why would she think that? I thought you were pretending to be the Jinn Prince for a while, so as to help Great Song. But yet you really want to acknowledge the enemy as your father? Oh, is she gonna hate him now, guys? Is he gonna change her mind? Wen Yankang heard her tone change to a furious one. She was choking with anger and could not speak for a moment. Mu Nianzi continued. Great Song has lost half our empire to the Jinns, and so many Hans have been tortured and slaughtered by them. Doesn't that bother you at all? You... She stopped here and could not go on. Following that, she threw the golden seal on the floor and was about to leave when Wen Yankang called out, Sister, I'm wrong. Come back. Mu Nianzi stopped and turned. What? Wen Yankang said. When I am freed of the burdens of the Jinn ambassador, I won't go back to the Jinns anymore, all right? I will live a carefree and simple life with you, which is much better than having to suffer in silence like now. Yeah, who believes this? Well, I think she'll believe this, but... Mu Nianzi sighed and was silent. Ever since she sparred with Wen Yankang, she had fallen for him deeply and had viewed him as an upright and just hero. She thought that there must have been some reason that Wen Yankang did not want to acknowledge his real father. When he became the Jinn ambassador, she thought of an excuse for him, that he was secretly spying for the Songs and to help crush the enemy for the Songs. Who would have guessed that it was all wishful thinking on her part? Wen Yankang was nothing more than a greedy and shameful traitor. She was heartbroken and felt dejected. Wen Yankang asked in a low voice, Sister, what's wrong? Mu Nianzi did not reply. Wen Yankang asked, My mother told me that your godfather is my real father. I did not have a chance to clarify when they both died. I have been really confused all along. My birthrights and origins cannot just simply be haphazardly defined, right? Mu Nianzi was secretly comforted and thought to herself, So, he is not clear about his birthrights. He cannot really be blamed then. Huh? She said out loud. Don't mention anything about bringing the golden seal to the Prime Minister Shi anymore. I will find Sister Huang and ask her for the dagger to save you. Huang Rong had actually thought of returning the dagger to Mu Nianzi, but when she heard what Wen Yankang said about aiding the Jinns, she was fuming and thought, Father hates the Jinns. Let him stay here for a couple more days then. Wen Yankang continued, The pathways in this manor are bizarre. How did you find your way through? Mu Nianzi replied, Luckily, there were 2 masters secretly directing me, though I don't know who they are, and they do not want to reveal themselves. Wen Yankang sighed deeply. Sister, I'm afraid that you'll be discovered the next time you come here. If you want to save me, then help me find a person. Mu Nianzi replied angrily. I'm not going to find any prime minister for you. Wen Yankang replied. Not prime minister, but help me look for my teacher. Mu Nianzi replied. Wen Yankang continued. Take my belt with you and use a knife to carve Wen Yankang is in danger at Gui Yun Manor, located at the west bank of Lake Tai on the Gold Buckle. Following that, go to Suzhou and travel 30 miles north to a deserted hill. Find 9 human skulls and stack them together into a pyramid. How do you find 9 human skulls? With 5 skulls at the base, followed by 3 in the middle, and 1 on top. Lastly, place the belt under the skull. Place the belt under the top skull. Mu Nianzu was puzzled and asked, "Why?" Wen Yankang replied, "My teacher is blind, but when she finds the belt and feels the carvings, she will come and save me. Therefore, you must carve the words deep." Mu Nianzu asked, "Isn't your teacher master of eternal spring, Taoist Qiu? How can he be blind?" Wen Yankang answered, "No, it's not Taoist Qiu. It's my other teacher. After you place the belt, you must leave immediately. My teacher has a weird temper. If she finds someone near the skulls, she might harm you. She is highly skilled and can save me. You just have to wait for me in front of the Xuan Miao Monastery in Suzhou." Mu Nianzu said, "You have to swear that you will not acknowledge the enemy as your father and betray your people." Is he? To be fair, if he's looking for Mei Chao Feng, there's probably just some skulls hanging around. Wen Yankang refused and replied, "After I find out the truth about everything, I will then act accordingly to my morals. What use is it to force me to swear now? If you are not willing to save me, then so be it." Mu Nianzu replied, "All right, I'll help you seek help." With that, she removed Wen Yankang's belt. Wen Yankang asked, "Sister, are you leaving? Come over and let me kiss you." Mu Nianzu replied, "No." With that, she stood up and headed for the door. Wen Yankang said, "I'm afraid that they might kill me before my teacher reaches, and then I'll never get to see you again." Mu Nianzu's heart softened. She gave a long sigh and walked back into his arms, allowing him to kiss her on the cheek a few times. Okay, just the cheeks, guys. She suddenly beat the chains and said, "If you do not walk the right path in the future, I cannot do anything but blame myself for my ill fate and die in front of you." Man, she loves to die, doesn't she? Wen Yankang wanted to cuddle and sweet talk with her a while, half hoping that she would change her mind and agreed to take the golden seal to Prime Minister Xi, but he felt her body shaking and her breathing was hard, signaling that she was worked up. He did not expect her to say anything like that and was in shock for a moment, but Mu Nianzi had already stood up and walked out of the door. She's gonna die. I'm glad she warned us. Yeah. She's gonna die at some point. He wants to cuddle and sweet talk. Dude, you're trapped. You're about to be killed. Or maybe. Alright. I think that's good, right? I think we're good. Yeah. I think we can stop here. Okay. So no, Mu Nianzi did not change her mind. Yeah, she has totally fallen for this guy. Making up all kinds of excuses for him. Alright, what do you guys think of this chapter? I started out a little bit weird, okay. Didn't know who these people were. And then the fighting was all off screen, so yeah, it was kind of weird. But alright, now we're back to people that we know. So I think Master Lu, he's crippled, right? Yeah, so he's probably was a disciple of Huang Yaoshi. Yeah. All right. I have a drink. Nice sake. Huh? almost done, I think. All right. Cheers. You were not expecting pirates? Yeah, me neither. Will Wen Yankang get character development? No. It'll just be the same thing over and over again. He'll keep asking Moon Yansu to give him kisses. I want to cuddle and sweet talk. Come on. And he'll never marry her. Ever. Alright. Oh, I hope you guys like that. I'm gonna try to see if I can do the chat GPT thing. I think it's pretty good. But this translator is not as bad as Mojo Jojo. Okay, but then we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what the quality of the next few chapters are gonna be. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I love you. I will see you next time. Bye.